Hello everyone and welcome to the Mind the Gaffes podcast. What is Mind the Gaffes, you ask? Well, for those of you that regularly commute up London, you'll recognise the saying as something to stop you hurting yourself. But more importantly, it's so that you don't inconvenience other passengers with more delays on an already incompetent striking railway network. Here on the podcast, however, it's no different, as me and my fellow gaffs have got together to discuss our passions, or just have a bit of a rant, in a probably sarcastic, embarrassing, and inappropriate way.
Amen, brother.
And my name's Luke, and I'm the host of this first episode, whatever that means, doing this intro. And first of all, I'll introduce Callum.
Hi, I'm Callum. I don't know, this is a bit like Take Me Out, but I'm from Essex, but regularly spend time in London.
Why'd you have to mention we're in Essex, bro? Just why?
Well, we are both
being outed.
Proud from Essex. And yeah, you know, we've known each other, everyone, 6 years now. So
yeah,
and we had some great chats in the pub. So why not bring it to the world?
Yeah, I'm Ross. I'm from Surrey, and yeah, here for a good time.
I'm not from Essex at all. Towie's ruined that, and I just say I'm from London. That's what we go with, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to go with don't want to go with Essex. It's all ruined credibility here. So yeah, I mean, I actually prepared a load of topics and classic first podcast recording, and I've left them somewhere else. Where's my
Cool.
Where is it? Is it on your laptop?
No, it's on my phone.
Okay.
But I don't know where my phone is.
Your phone is
Oh,
recording.
my phone's recording. Right, so
This is going well.
bollocks. Just to let the audience of our 10 viewers get to know.
I think that's quite
That'd be good.
ambitious.
That'd be nice.
Ambitious, 10
We've got
viewers.
3 viewers. Yeah, what's the topic?
The topic is apprenticeships. We all done one. I think we have a unique perspective here in the sense that we all did a scheme. I'm definitely on the side of promoting it over other alternative routes.
Well, I think the first thing is really that without apprenticeships, we wouldn't be here. I certainly wouldn't be friends with him.
Yeah.
That's
I probably
wonderful,
wouldn't
Callum.
have met you.
I'll be working at Tesco probably.
You'd be working in Waitrose.
Waitrose, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
But I think that's the first thing. You know, we wouldn't be friends with each other. We wouldn't have made them great bonds with each other. But I think, you know, even now, like, even though, you know, apprenticeships have kind of become like a cool thing.
When we done them, they weren't cool.
They weren't cool. And
It
they
was
weren't
like,
new.
yeah, it was like, oh, you're an apprentice. Oh, you didn't go to uni. It was like,
Yeah.
it's
The
not good
big
enough.
thing is like when you're at college, everyone will just tell you to go to uni. Everyone.
Yeah.
All your teachers, they're all invested. They've all got connections to universities with the colleges. So you kind of have to just ignore that. And I mean, the thing
Just
for
don't
me,
listen to anyone. Is that
the big
is that
reason
it?
I didn't want to do it is because I don't know, I can't remember what it's called, but people were like, you had to like do a bit of extra prep work, like to apply for these universities. So you'd write like an essay or something. I can't remember what it's called, but I just didn't want to do that.
That's just just the essay, is it? I was like,
Yeah,
800
I was
words.
like, I don't want to write an
Absolutely
essay,
not.
so maybe uni isn't for me. But
I 100% could have gone to a good uni. I didn't even bother with UCAS. But I didn't want the debt. I was quite practical about it. And ultimately, like before I joined, it wasn't like I didn't drink before I joined the company we did the apprenticeship for. And I think that you know, it's a big change going from, you know, going to uni, which is probably slightly less mature, to going into a workplace full time. I think makes a really
a bunch
big
of old
difference in the
geezers.
Yeah, I mean, we were working practically with people who were.
It was like an
Middle-aged.
early retirement home when we were there. When we were done.
What, there's no, wasn't there one person? I'm trying to remember. There was only one person in like their 30s. The gap must have been like 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, easily.
Yep.
And I think that, but I think
I
that
think
was
we're
quite.
selling apprenticeships. I think it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it was quite a good dynamic. And I mean, we went to uni, the wonderful Ravensbourne University.
I have
Shouts
nothing but absolute positive things to say about Ravensbourne.
That was free. And, you know, a degree's a degree. Nobody really cares
Well,
once you've
that's
got
the
it.
thing. Like, there's different layers of apprenticeships, right? There's different
Yeah.
levels. We were on the just to clarify the degree apprenticeship scheme. So even though Ross was just talking a load of shit about uni earlier, we still went.
We did. Yeah, I had to do exams and stuff. Didn't like it.
Yeah,
now, what naysayers
I tried to avoid this, and now I'm still here anyway.
Now, what a naysayer would say, they'd say, you go to uni, you get the experience, you get to live on your own, meet people. Like what, how's apprenticeship stacking up to that, man?
Well, the thing is, what is the uni experience?
I had to go on a tube and work with old people. Like, how's that any better than uni?
No, but what is the uni experience? And when I hear people talk about that, it's like, oh, you're missing out on this, and it's just a bit of a piss up. It's going for it's having the cheap drinks. Like, why would you want to live on pasta and cheese? Are you seriously telling me, like, with a straight face, that you would give up getting at least starting on a 20k salary?
And I mean, I just want to say that, as apprentices, we finished on good salaries, very good salaries. And I think that's true for a lot of degree apprentices. But, like, better than a lot of grads start on, and you've not got any debt. It's fab.
I guess what I was getting at is, like, people say, like, you wouldn't get a social side out of the apprenticeship, which you obviously did.
Yeah, we got lots.
Had a good time.
And we could afford it.
Yeah. What was the social side of being an apprentice like,
I mean,
probably spending your entire salary, which defeats the whole point that we're not in debt, because I definitely maxed my overdraft. But
yeah,
the end outcome was good. Definitely that first year, it just went to zero.
I mean, we had some great experiences. Not necessarily the apprentice events we went to, but like going to Manchester, going to weird places in London.
Shouts out Simmons,
if they want to hook up for a collab,
Simmons are everywhere now. But I feel like when we were going in 2016, there weren't that many.
We need to say that the #1 Simmons in all of London is Fitzrovia, one of the originals.
Yeah,
easily. It's near BT
good
Tower.
Vibes downstairs and an upstairs.
Yeah, it's just got the right vibe.
Oh, downstairs sometimes. I don't know. It's very inconsistent.
Yeah, they're filling up for it. They'll open it up.
Sorry, but I'd say
that's your inappropriate mind.
But we had loads of great experiences all together in bars, and not yeah.
And now you're here as a result of Simmons, right?
Here.
Would you blame Simmons for the start of this podcast? Maybe we can blame uni.
We definitely can blame uni for getting friendly with each other.
Yeah, we got.
Don't look at me like that, Callum.
So we had lots of fun together. We had lots of enjoyable times, and they're very good memories. And I do I've since leaving that company. I do miss working and seeing these two every day. I mean, the pandemic got in the way. But I do miss it. But obviously now we have to get with each other every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
we have to do that. It's a chore now.
Yeah,
but we can talk nonsense.
Is it a chore?
We're like being forced to hang out together.
Yeah, forced fun.
It's like when your parents are like, "Oh, you have to hang out with the neighbours' kids." It's that kind of vibe.
What do you think about forced fun at work?
At the office?
Or what's your idea of natural fun? And
I don't think it exists in the workplace.
It's got to be random pub night.
I don't know. It depends.
Go around the office. You come in pub. You go in the pub. You go in the pub. That's the only time it's legitimate.
This is the influence of the old people at the office, isn't it?
I struggle with this, right? Because it's like it is a British culture thing, and then offices try and be more. We'll do an activity. We'll do something that's more inclusive. But I really just do want to go to the pub.
Yeah, I mean, there's just some people that don't drink, so now you have to accommodate. But then I just think,
in a very selfish way, I just want to go to the pub.
Yeah, you just want to drink.
I'll do a bit of bowling, but it's got to be more.
There's only so much bowling you can do. Yeah,
bowling, Christmas party,
you got
club.
You got the typical options. Yeah, flight club. I do axe throwing. I haven't done that yet. That's like one of the.
That's probably one of the only ones I haven't done. I feel like I've done so many.
Yeah, I hate mini golf. Although I just did that with an agency the other week. But to be fair, it's fine. I think it depends who you're with, and it depends how drunk you are, right?
So the previous company I was at, we had like a pretty good. It was like a bowling place, but it was lots of drinking there as well. It was decent.
That's the key ingredient.
Yeah. And I think, you got to talk with each other and it wasn't too forced fun. I think it's when it's like, you've got a regimented schedule, like you have to be here at this time. We're doing this, then we're having dinner, then we're having forced fun drinks, and you've got to talk to people you don't really
stick
like.
to the schedule.
The worst forced fun was during COVID when it was like, right, here's your 20-minute allotted fun time.
If I had to do
for the
another
week.
bloody quiz, I swear to God, that was doing.
But
my
it was
head
so forced because it's like you don't chat to anyone like you would in the office. So it's like, right, here's your 20-minute slot to all chat, everyone chat, and it was so it's like so like.
You just get like
this is
5
just
people just chatting, like the really sort of,
and
loud.
You really can't replicate actually being around other people because you wouldn't have one-on-one conversations with random people throughout the day, and then you're all put on a call together, and it's like it's not a conversation, right? Because you're all only one person can talk in a room full of 15 people at a time. So yeah, that was really painful. I did not enjoy that.
But yeah, I think forced fun, not for me.
Yeah. Did you do like either of you do it with like your mates where you do like a friends like when it was like lockdown like can't leave the house?
I mean,
I did a few like.
Well, I mean,
friends.
I did one with you. What was that? We
did a few.
Jack in the Box.
Yeah,
Jackbox.
Jackbox is the classic.
I think it's just the noises irritate me.
Just mute it.
That. Yeah, but it's annoying. Really annoying.
Why?
Yeah.
What noises?
He's got like it's American to start with, whatever the accent is, but it's just the noises of the program. That's something. Like my previous company, one of the guys there, great guy, but I accidentally always said like stuff which was a bit anti-American, and he was American, which is a problem. But yeah, anyway, back to Jackbox. Yeah, fun games, but
don't like the voices.
Don't like the voices. Don't like the sounds either.
Sounds very anti-American.
Yeah. I mean, going back onto the apprenticeships thing, what was the worst thing about it for you?
The worst thing?
Yeah.
Having to study every single Friday, like really religiously.
I mean, basically we had to work 4 days a week, and then we had the Friday as study day, effectively. I was very studious. I always did my work.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
What was that essay we had to write every Friday? It was like Rocket League or something. What was it?
Yeah, it was a Rocket League essay.
Or Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Mario Kart essay.
Yeah. What
to be fair,
and then we did a dissertation on it.
To be fair, the study room had a pretty decent, like 60-inch Sony 4K TV, which had to be used.
I actually remember we got Mario Kart at once, didn't we, on the big screen?
Yeah.
And like just
that was so the move.
We didn't distract all the apprentices. Everyone was involved. It was inclusive. It was like
basically for context, they said to all the apprentices, and this was on a Friday when no one else came to the office anyway.
Yeah.
But they were like adamant, right, this is your study time, and because we know you're just going to sit at home and dick about and not do any studying, you have to come to the office, and you're all going to sit in a room together. The idea being you all write your essays and what did you think about this? Oh, I found a good link here. Like that you would all collaborate and work together, but they didn't anticipate that we'd all just dick about and like play games and like watch Netflix. So it did backfire. And then it was just
there was a ping pong table, wasn't there? A ping pong table.
Yeah, there was.
There's an attachable ping pong table.
Why did we not get that out more often than we did?
Yeah, so that was in like the cupboard in the back of the room. It was really just set up for us to dick around.
It worked though. And I mean, like now, it's probably that kind of tradition doesn't exist because people probably just work from home on a Friday now. Which is a shame.
But to be fair, I feel less bad because I thought at the time, I'm coming out of college, and I'm thinking, right, I need to get my shit together. I need to work really hard. I need to become, be very professional in my field.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't know enough. Am I not working hard enough? And then like. Only sort of near the latter end of the apprenticeship, do people start saying, "Oh yeah, when I was your age, I was doing this," and nowhere near that side of their career. About I was taking this too seriously.
Yeah, I think there's more of a pressure in some ways for our generation to like actually like you've got to be on it, you've got to be making money, you've got to be saving for your
Hustle.
house. You can save and set ISAs, saving, do this. Don't like because the reality is like for us to like buy a house is not the same situation as it was 30 years ago, or even 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago. So I don't know. I think it's also a generational thing where it's just like, yeah, I dicked about until I was like 30, then I saved for a year, and I bought a house. Like, it's like we literally can't do that.
But definitely, like as I was saying about the money, like that first 2-3 years, I didn't save anything.
Yeah,
and then it was only in the tail end of it. Thank God we had a share scheme at the company where I was forced to save a certain amount of money that I put away. But you know, this is one of the positives that came out of COVID. But the only reason I saved up any money for this flat that we're in right now is because of COVID.
Yeah, that was the best thing.
For an entire year, I was not spending any money.
You used to infuriate me with how you manage your money. Can we say on the thing?
Yeah, fuck it, go for it. Yeah.
You used to use your... No, you would... Basically...
Oh, whoa. Slow down. What are you about to say?
No.
I don't know.
Let's not
There's a couple of things
I
I think could say.
No. I
We used
still
to...
said company, okay? I don't want to get fired.
Okay, maybe you edit this out. You can get... Because he would fucking run out of money.
No, I'm bleeping that out. We're not saying...
Yeah, no.
How can I moan about Luke's financial situation without?
Well, there's other things.
You would annoy me because it would be like your mentality. Maybe it was at the time. Maybe you just have like better financial situation now. But you would see it as like a game would come out, and you'd be like, "Well, I have to buy that."
Yeah.
Like it's not like
I need it now. No.
It's not like a. You know how people have like, oh, these are my wants I want to spend a month, and these are what I need. Your needs are just like everything. Like, I need. It's like, well, obviously I have to buy this new games console. I have to do this.
A very good example of that was when Callum got a MacBook Pro, and then we all had our Lenovo laptops, and I'm just like, oh, that looks good. How much is that? $2,000. I don't know the money. Screw it. Max my overdraft. Did I use it to its full potential for editing? No.
You do shit like you buy a Mac, but you
No. Old Luke did that.
Yeah, well, you've changed.
But we're here on this sofa. We got this set up right now. You know, for everyone watching, you can be an idiot when you're 19 years old with money, but it's okay.
Piss me off, because then you'd be like, "Oh, I can't come out," and I'm like, "We're earning this. We're all earning the money."
No, what are you talking about? When did I ever say we can't go out?
There were times where Luke would say, "I've got no money right now,"
and I can't go out, but I'd still go out.
You still go out, yeah. That's the difference.
There's no.
And then he'd find some cool loopholes of how to get a bit of money in his pocket, which we can't talk about
on this podcast.
Yeah. That makes it sound like you're robbing people.
No, I'm not robbing. Everything is perfectly legal. Okay.
But yeah, that even though you came out, the idea that you were like, oh, I can't. I'm a bit, money's a bit. So I know what you've been buying. Like I know how you've been spending your money. Like leave a bit of money for some beer, like on a Thursday. That really pissed me off.
Well, now what I've done is I've got my bank set up. I've got my savings accounts. Obviously, there's the mortgage. There's like even present fund. There's car fund. There's emergency fund. Like everything goes into different pots with direct debits, and I don't touch it. Holiday fund, that's important. Yeah, so I've got all the funds. Everything's set up. All good.
On the best part,
we have moved on.
The best part is you would have a spreadsheet.
I didn't realise this first episode would turn into a fucking grilling session.
You'd have his spreadsheet of it would be the same thing. It'd be like his needs and his wants and his musts. But in his spreadsheet, it'd be like, right, so once I've bought all of this shit I don't need and done all this shit I don't need and subscribed to all this shit I don't need, I'll have exactly 58p to spend on like buying food. And it's like, Luke, you got to fucking cut some of that shit
I'm
out.
gonna need another drink after this. Like, honestly, like, this is mental.
Oh shit. We've always been quite good with money.
I'm okay. Like, I mean,
I
love travel.
Actually, you do like nice things.
I like nice things. That's my downfall.
Like something you could get for like £100, you'll spend like 300 just because you want the nice thing.
When you got the MacBook, what was that stand? Wasn't it like an £80 stand or something?
It was, but it's beautiful, and I still have it.
That's a great example.
Have you?
That's literally you could get that for 20 quid.
Yeah,
and he paid 80.
Look, You have seen my setup at home. It's one single USB-C cable, powers it all, and it's on that lovely stand 5 years later.
Can I just say, you are the most OCD person you could ever meet about your work from home setup.
Because
and I almost
You spend a
admire
lot
it,
of
but I'm
time
slightly scared, and it also pisses me off that I'm not as that way inclined.
the point
Just
is,
don't look over there. Like,
need a bigger
all the
desk,
cameras
man.
are facing this way. We don't have to.
You
look
need a
that
bigger desk
direction.
over
for
there.
me as an individual, like if I'm spending 3 out of 5 days a week at home, I want a decent setup. That's why I don't even use my work issued laptop. I use my Mac and BYOD.
I get that. I think if you're going to spend a night, like a good amount of money on something, if it's something you use all the time, like nice office chair, like if you're going to sit, like you're sat there
That's a good
all
point.
day,
I need a new
Which still
office chair.
squeaks.
that looks nice.
Yeah. Let's
You need
have
a fucking bigger
let's
desk.
have a
The desk
demonstration.
is tiny.
Okay, like this is my fucking chair. Okay, this is the noise it makes. I'm currently now sitting down, and now I'm leaning back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you should put a bit
Yeah,
of
it's picking it up
WD-40 on that. Yeah, you should put a bit of
that
WD
loud?
on that. Yeah.
Get a WD-40 out.
But yeah, so that's why I'm so specific about it. And I have my little plane models on there because I work in aviation.
That's kind of cool.
It's nice. It's beautiful. And my chair is from an aircraft. You know, it's pretty cool.
What?
It's an ex-aircraft
They
chair.
gave you one?
No,
You bought one?
Not the company I work for. No, I bought it.
That's cool.
So it's an ex-plane seat that was turned into an office chair. And, you know, it's got the recline still.
Do you ever think about if like a little kid like pissed itself while on that seat or something?
It was fully reupholstered.
Okay.
I was going to talk about the 4-day working week.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think about the 4-day working week?
I'm thinking 0-day working week.
Okay, but what do you seriously think about the 4-day working
So so a study came out, and there's been many now, and they all point to the fact that these companies that try it out all find that there's no dip in productivity. A number of them find there's an increase in productivity. A number of them adopt 4-day working weeks after the study ends because they're like, this is just the better way to do it. So I don't know. I mean, based on the studies so far, it seems like a no-brainer. Like, no one would, in their right mind, say, no, I'd much rather work 5 days. Like, no, like everyone would accept it if it was offered to them.
Apart from, like, the property owners and the owners of the Daily Mail who say that.
But they still have the
yeah.
lease, right? They still have...
Yeah, but they still want to encourage people to obviously come into the office and buy stuff.
They want people in London
They want people in London spending
buying
money.
shit, spending money. So,
high street
Protecting their
owners.
interests.
and
but then
stuff like that.
arguably, if you got a day off, if everyone had a day off on Friday, you'd go out and spend money anyway.
Then you just get more local shops, right? You just have your
Exactly.
people living, like what you were saying about...
They want all
people
the
working
money
from
going
home.
to the big city and not to our
Like these
local.
big conglomerate companies
local
that are
little villages.
stealing all our money.
We get something called Summer Fridays, which a lot
Only
of
in
companies,
summer.
a lot of companies do now, which is a month in August or June or July
that
or
it?
August for a month.
No, you didn't tell me that. You
No,
said
that is
you
what I
work
told
half
you.
days on Friday.
No, I said they
That's
do.
bullshit. You didn't say that.
That's not what I told you
That
because
is
that's
what
not
you told
true.
me.
That's not.
That is what you told me.
They
I'm
do
sorry.
Summer Fridays. You probably maybe you heard the second half of what I was saying. They do Summer Fridays, which is for a month in summer or 2 months in summer or whatever. Everyone does half days in the company. That was it,
Seems fair if they want to do that.
which is nice.
That's reasonable. Well, that's like a half step, isn't it?
It is a half step, and it's like take the full step. Give me the day off. But I don't know. Everyone's different. I feel like for you, Callum, you probably max out your productivity at all hours of every day, and get the full use out of the 5
That's
day
not
week.
to say that if they offered 4-day working week, I would decline. Of course not, because I know what I would do with that. But I would much rather take condensed hours over 4 days than 5 days. So
That's interesting.
So I would rather, because there's so much I could do with a 3-day weekend in terms of like my self-growth, my travel blogs, my, whatever. There's a lot I could do with it.
But I think a lot of those skills would actually help you in your job as well.
Yeah.
So that's quite...
Yeah, it would.
The thing, like the approach a lot of CEOs might take, right? They just think, okay, give people more time, they're just going to piss off and play video games and watch The Last of Us, Netflix documentaries. The truth is, like, you know, there's a lot of mental health reasons. There's a lot of, you know, a lot of people have. You know,
some people want to go boozing on a Thursday night.
Okay, all right. Who works productively on a Friday? Let's be honest.
This guy does.
Other than Callum, can you tell me honestly?
Everyone kind of switches off a bit.
Question: would you take a pay cut for a 4-day week?
No, because I want my money.
That's not the point.
No, but if you were
Why do you
doing
think I
one
done an
less day a
apprenticeship?
week,
Because I want money.
Yeah, but I could request that right now. I'm not gonna, because that's a fifth of my income gone. But the whole point in the 4-day week discussion is you keep your full salary. You just work one less day.
Yeah.
And frankly, people, I think for a fact, people, if they had a lot to do, they would probably work that extra day. But what happens now is, if you have to work the extra day, you end up working on a weekend, on a Saturday or a Sunday. It's a mentality shift where it's like, oh, I've got these 4 days to do things. If I need to do something for a couple hours on a Friday morning, I can, but I've still got
at the end of the day, you'll still have the same job responsibilities. So if you're not delivering, you're doing bad at your job.
It's a mentality thing.
A performance review, and therefore you get sacked.
Because what I find is like, it's like when computers became like prevalent, they were like, oh, we're gonna have people will have, you know, they'll spend less time working and they'll have more time to do, because all this shit, we're sending letters, we're doing all this stuff on paper, we're printing everything out. Wow, how amazing is that going to be? People are going to have to work less. What happens, what the like capitalist machine does is it goes, oh, I can get more people doing more stuff, so your workload just doubles and so every time there's something that increases productivity, people don't do less work, they just do more in the same amount of time. And it's the same in the opposite way. It's the same mentality for like a 4-day week. If you're like, I have 4 days to get shit done,
you're going to get it done.
You're not. That's the time you have.
And let's be honest as well. There are some people that are like, maybe it's different for different types of roles. There's always going to be a backlog of stuff for certain roles, but then there's other things. It's like, say you allocate like 5 days to do this piece of work. Well, you're going to do it. You might work really hard on the first day and then cruise a little bit, and then you'll finish the job on the 5th day because you've allocated 5 days to do it. But if you're like working 4 days, maybe you'll just get it done in 4 days because you know, oh, I actually have the day off, and therefore I don't need to waste my time. Just pretending to scrolling my mouse along so everyone sees I'm on green on Microsoft Teams and that I'm online and present, right?
Yeah.
I think
we all agree on this topic.
That's a problem.
Luke, I need a beer.
You need another bit. I'll get you one.
Yeah, I'm not letting you pour it.
You two. Right, I'm
not letting Luke pour this beer. He did an atrocious job.
Did too much head on it.
Put the picture on the screen, Luke, even though you're editing it and you can choose not to. Put the picture up.
You know, sometimes I miss them days of the apprenticeship, but then some days I'm like, I'm glad it's over.
Yeah, we couldn't be like that forever.
Don't complain about my pouring.
No, I'm going to pour it. I'm going to show you how it's done.
No.
No, fuck. No, I'm pouring it.
Right, don't.
I'm pouring it.
No. Okay.
Because I need to show you how it can be.
Let me redeem myself.
Wait, are you going to tilt it to the side?
Yes, that's what I did the last time.
You did not.
I did.
You're not doing it enough.
It's fizzing up already.
Can I show you then? No, because you're going to fuck it up again, and then I'm going to say, no, you could have done it differently. So I'm going to do it differently now.
No, I'm going to do it, and then you can fucking wait 5 minutes if you have to. Right?
You need to go a bit
slower. Why would he? Does it not make sense for him to let me pour it and not make it foamy? Does that not make sense?
I'm tilting it.
Right, let me do it.
No.
Stop. You're fucking foaming it up again. God damn it. Stubborn.
Yeah, I am.
You've got to take your time, man. Oh, it's too late now. He's botched it.
Neck oil, Beavertown.
Let the record show, I did not add any extra foam to that.
It's like a beer cappuccino.
That's acceptable, but I saved it.
Why are you here? We are in the Mind the Gaffes podcast.
Mind those gaffs.
Mind those gaffs. Okay? And we live up London.
Kinda. Not really.
You live in London. I live around London.
Same.
Callum lives slightly further around
Callum,
London.
Actually, no, I sort of just live slightly further south to you, but similar distance, but the train takes longer. I have lived in West London, yes.
Mm.
Okay. You have?
Yeah.
Past tense?
Past tense.
Okay.
Well,
Anyway.
you visited me.
Yes, I know. Whatever.
Anyway.
Let's move on. Let's get to the point, okay? Like I can already feel the retention dying on this podcast.
If it ever existed.
You can't divide by 0. Sorry.
I forgot the topic was.
No, come on, Luke.
Oh no, right. Okay.
Get it together.
Okay, I got it. So, traveling up London. How do you feel about it?
What?
I could literally moan about it all day. I mean, right. So I used to pre-COVID travel 5 days a week. I paid for my season ticket. It was thousands.
This fits into the 4-day week conversation.
Thousands and thousands
This
of
is an
pounds.
interesting dynamic.
Well, it's also a work from home discussion, but I used to, because I had to go in 5 days a week, I'd spend thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds on my rail card ticket. And the really fun thing is about that is if they cancel, like, if your train doesn't show up, like, at all, not just is late, it just never shows up, was never going to show up, you've wasted your time, cancel completely, they'll refund you for the whole leg of that journey. Problem is, when you have an annual ticket, is they divide the price of your ticket by 365. So they're assuming that you travel to London and back every single day of the year. So
that's bullshit.
So you get back like £3 for a train that never showed up, and you're spending like £4,000. That's infuriating, because what it should be, you would, if you bought a ticket for 20 quid, you would get 20 quid back. But if you have a season ticket, they're like, well, you must be travelling to London for 7 days a week for 365 days a year.
I've never bought.
It's infuriating.
A season ticket, but that's just nonsense.
I was trying to work out how often, I would need to be in the office to make, a season ticket worth it, and I think it only makes sense if you're in 5 days a week. Any less than that, no sense.
I think it only made sense when I got the apprenticeship 30% discount.
Which we never got because we didn't live in London at the time.
Yeah.
You only got it if you lived in London.
No, we did. I did get something at one point.
You did, yeah.
How did I? Oh, because I'm within the M25.
Borough. I think even at 4 days a week, depending, it's still worth it, but less
marginal.
It's like on the edge, right? Peter's on the edge. But yeah, I think the working from home thing, like, it is just we could talk about the cost of travel. We could talk about how poor how unreliable it is.
The absolute unreasonable prices of tickets. Let's talk about the politics of the situation with all these, like, where does the funding go? Where does all the amount of money I'm putting in towards these £16 plus tickets, depending on where you live, which could range to 30, 40 quid. Who bloody knows? Where's that money going? Is the railway striking right now? Why have they not got the money? Do we think they deserve the money? This is a whole situation.
Where the money is going.
I don't want to pay an extortionate amount of money.
Do you know where the money is going?
Where's it going? Abroad.
Well, ultimately, most of the train services are operated by a mixture of foreign operators.
Yep.
So our local one is operated and owned by Trenitalia of Italy, which is owned by the Italian government. Your previous railway, SWR, which wasn't you, that's owned by a combination of a stock exchange company combined with a Hong Kong company. The problem is that money that was to prop up the railways during the pandemic ultimately propped up their foreign owners, the owners of them railway companies. So
they didn't lose.
It's not capitalism. Capitalism would be they would basically lose out if it was fair.
Yeah,
but it's not. Risk. There's zero risk for the operators involved.
So the irony is, and I can't remember if it was like the German government or whatever, but they were like, by the way, UK, you fund our free...
I think it was Netherlands.
The Netherlands. They're like, you fund we offer free travel and you're subsidising it because they owned part of our rail network.
Yeah.
So the money we're spending subsidises free travel with another country.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're just getting screwed.
That's just how does that?
We are
Because
getting
ultimately,
It's all for profit.
maybe bar long distance trains, you can't have competition on a railway. It doesn't work.
What's the argument? Does anyone make an argument for? There's obviously the privatisation versus
but the problem was it was all theoretical, and it's proven to not work.
But what would someone argue in favour of it being owned by disparate companies?
I guess they thought that if you involved private industry, it'd more competition,
and it would drive the prices down.
It would either drive prices down and quality up, or you have to consider that there was effectively managed decline from the 60s to the 80s of the railways. Passenger numbers went down. You know, the London Tilbury and Southend Railway, which is now C2C, which actually C2C is relatively good compared to a lot of them, that was called the Misery Line for many years because of how awful it was. So it got to such a point where people hated the idea of nationalised rail, British rail, that people were like, do it, whatever. People didn't care.
People want to change for the sake of change.
Yeah, and there have been improvements, but most of the improvements have been led by government investing in the system, not by the private companies. It's not private, it's not capitalist, the system we've got. So it's annoying, it's frustrating.
It's not what people would argue for. I think you either heavily regulate it or you make it government owned.
That's interesting.
I think the main thing is that you bring it back into the government.
Yeah, I agree.
And you have it as an arm's length corporation. And I think a fine example of this is MTR in Hong Kong. MTR got a very good system, beautiful system, but they have invested in the land around their train properties. They make a lot of money from real estate. They look a lot of money from like the rents of the businesses there, as well as the railway itself, and it runs efficiently. But that's owned by the government, but it's self-sufficient. So I'm not saying we need that for the whole country, because ultimately it's got to be for a public good. But I think you've got to realise that there shouldn't be profit in something which... Why are people in cars getting tax breaks on their road tax and stuff, when people on, trains and things, they've got their stuff going up by, 12-15%? It's not really fair when ultimately it's a shared system. As a country, we've got to decide, do we want to invest in it as infrastructure? Do we want do we see it as a public good and we don't necessarily want to make profit from it, same for TfL, or do we want it to just be private?
I think it's one of those things. It's like, I never understood why, you've now got all these private companies owning railways, of which there's no competition, because where you live is you're going to have to get to that destination, right? So therefore, the competition is irrelevant. You're screwed. You have to pay what you have to pay.
There's only in this country. There's only a couple of routes where you could have competition, and that's stuff like London, Manchester, London, Glasgow. You have a few operators, and that makes sense because you're long distance. Nobody's going to commute every day.
Look, they all charge loads of money.
I know they do, but
it's always like £100 for a ticket.
I know, and you can get like 29 quid on EasyJet, but. Yeah,
and it just boggles my mind, And you've got the sustainability thing, and then you've got all these taxes now, a bit like the ULEZ, which is the ultra low emission zone to try around London to try and be more sustainable. It's expanding out. You're basically taxing the poor. That's my opinion on it. And then there's that going on, but then they're rising prices for trains. And it's just
for me. It's
what's the option?
For me, it's like it's that little incremental, like, that 4 or 5 grand ticket you've got. We're just going to raise that by like a few percent, and then the next year we're going to raise that by a few more percent.
It's like
it just keeps going up,
and that's hundreds of pounds every time. And for them, that's their big fucking CEO bonus at the end of the year, because they're making hundreds of thousands, millions from that few percent going up. And guess what? I can't be like, I'm cancelling like we said, it's the competition. There's no competition, obviously. Oh, I'll cancel my ticket in protest. I'm going to drive to work. Like, no. Like, definitely.
But you can't drive to work. It's still expensive because the fuel costs went up.
And
I
get what you're saying about the I'm very much a proponent of like rail-centric travel. I think it should be cycle-centric.
Anti-15-minute city stuff.
What's that?
Do you know the concept of 15-minute city? So basically the idea is that everything...
You can get everywhere you need to go within 15 minutes, right?
Basically.
Like what, like the line?
No. But the idea is basically that you can get all the essentials you need within 15 minutes by either public transport or active transport.
So yeah, you can walk wherever you need to go within 15 minutes.
A combination of public transport, cycling, and walking. Any of it. And there's this whole like far right adjacent conspiracy of it that it's like to control us as individuals, and that's what people are trying to frame ULEZ as, is like an attempt to control the people.
How is...
It's not controlling the people.
It's not a bad thing.
It's just taxing.
People think...
Sorry, whoa. What do you mean? What's not a bad thing?
The 15-minute cities is not a bad thing that you have all the essentials.
Okay, I thought you said ULEZ expanding.
But
is not
ULEZ,
a bad thing.
the issue with ULEZ is that I think it's a noble aim to want to improve the air quality within London.
But it doesn't make sense.
No, let me finish. but the main thing is, if you really wanted to make it the noble aim,
do the 15-minute.
You would ban the cars outright. You wouldn't let people pay to pollute.
No, but that wouldn't practically work.
Well, you
would
just fine them.
You're going to screw a significant amount of people over who can't afford a new car.
What about Amsterdam, where they basically blocked out?
Here's what they should do. Here's what they should do. They should redesign the city, right,
to be cycle-centric and pedestrian-centric and not car-centric.
Yeah, exactly.
But then
stop bloody car. Like what? I don't understand people who drive through London. What's the point? You might as well walk. It takes so long anyway. Like what are you doing? What's the point?
Yeah, I nearly did that today.
I mean, there is a need.
The only reason you should drive through London is so Ross can get here to do this podcast.
Yes.
I got the train.
I got the train because I practice what I preach. But is that 15-minute debate not about? Is it not more? Because if you look at American cities, you've got the suburbs, which is this huge sprawling area with just housing, and then you've got a big highway, and then 5 minutes down the highway, you've got a massive Walmart, you've got a massive shop, you've got a Subway, but it's only accessible from a car. Is that not what it's more about? Whereas a 15-minute city would be Paris, would be London, would be
but they think it's the idea is they all think it's like this. They, as in the right wing, think it's like a conspiracy to control.
But what I'm saying is it an American debate?
No, it's coming to the UK as well.
Right. Americans drive everywhere.
Because
they can't go to any shop.
They have to.
Do roundabouts exist in America?
Sorry?
Do roundabouts exist in America?
That's not because of car The reason they won't do roundabouts is because they're worried it's going to cause accidents.
But that doesn't make sense.
Well, but they've got a whole entire population of people driving around who don't have the experience of it. So if you just plonked one SimCity style in the middle of a highway, they'd all crash.
Let's fucking get them to do their driving test again. I don't know.
Do you want to know a fun fact?
What?
There is one highway in the US that's in kilometers instead of miles.
Why?
Because they did it as a test and they just left it for like the past 50 years. Nobody changed it. Very interesting.
Thought that was going to be a cooler story.
That'll
be some weird banter. It's mildly interesting.
I've been using Netflix lately.
Have you?
Yes.
You still pay for a turkey?
We're not talking about
okay.
What's that?
I can't possibly tell you.
What is with you trying to get me into financial trouble all the time? It's like, this episode is sponsored by NordVPN, which I totally didn't use to pay for my Netflix subscription.
Oh, the country. I'm thinking of it.
I cancelled my Netflix.
You're thinking of Christmas. Dude, it's... What month are we in?
March.
That's
When's Christmas?
December.
What are you talking about? It's way too premature.
I'm just thinking turkey's on the brain.
Why is it on the brain?
I don't know. Let's move on. What were you going to say?
There was a bloody earthquake there.
So, look, you've been watching Netflix.
Right, so basically what happened was, there's just a lot of crap content on Netflix,
100%.
okay?
Have you seen Singles Inferno? Oh my god, there's so many hot Koreans on there. Their bodies, like fresh out of the
hot
military.
Koreans at your local area.
I can't say I have, but this is somewhat related, okay? So, I was bored one day. Obviously, Love Island's a thing in the UK, but on Netflix, the main show is Too Hot to Handle. And because there was no content, I thought, I'm gonna have a watch of this. Or there is content, but it's a load of crap. So I'm scrolling through, I can't find anything. I watched Too Hot to Handle. As a result of that, the algorithm, the good old algorithm, suddenly thinks all I want to watch is dating reality shows.
And is that all you're watching now?
No, that's... It spammed me with loads of them. And I'm like, I can't find anything because you're literally recommending me every single dating reality show and romance film you have on Netflix. Which is actually a lot, okay? When the algorithm screws you over like that. So, no, I didn't watch more. What I done was I got onto customer service. I complained. I said, can you revert my profile back 2 weeks before I watch this show? Because your recommendations are not working. They can't do that. So, there you go. Test case.
The algorithm is its own beast.
Yeah, no one gets involved. It's it's its own entity. Okay, it's got its own brain. You can't work with it. So, and then the best advice the Netflix advisor could give me was dislike every dating reality show.
Yeah.
As a result, I did that. So I noticed they now have the I really love and normal like function. So I'm like trying to train my profile algorithm to completely reverse this whole situation, and that way I'm going through. Okay, what are the best films I like? Gladiator, yeah, screw it, that'll do. I'll double like that. Knives Out 1, yeah, double like that. Knives Out 2, I didn't really.
I watched the first one.
I liked the first one. I didn't really.
Second one was okay.
I didn't really.
I watched the second one first, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good film." And then I watched the first one, and I was like, "That's a fucking great film." Like the second one sucks.
Wait, sorry, you watched the second one first?
Yeah.
Why?
Because my family had watched the first
one,
and I was watching. Yeah, I was watching.
Sorry, can I just talk about why this was straight to Netflix?
Oh yeah.
What is going on there? So I actually wanted to pay my hard-earned money to watch Knives Out 2.
Yeah, but now you found out it's dog shit. It's not dog shit.
No.
It's just okay.
It was okay. But point being, I was going to spend my money, right? And it was in theatres for 2 weeks. Cinema.
You're watching too much American.
A theatre is where you go to watch a musical.
Callum, we're sitting with a Yank right now.
I know.
He's undercover.
No, a serious conversation here. Right, I have massive gripes with Netflix because any business, right? Do you want to make money? If you owned a business, do you want to make money?
I want to make some money.
You want to make some money, okay? Right, so explain this to me. Why are they releasing these films basically to not earn any money?
I mean, because for the production company, for the distributor, they will make money.
Oh yeah, but
they don't care. But Netflix,
of course
it's down to Netflix,
but
right?
This is Netflix. Netflix are paying.
So, for example,
for that content,
I don't know who made it, but maybe it's Sony, maybe it's Universal. They will still make money from it because Netflix are buying the rights. So obviously worked out, Netflix is obviously gonna pay the same or more. So you might as well do that.
Well, I think who's the director of Knives Out? Rian Johnson, the shit Star Wars movie.
Don't know, actually.
Well, he just sold out. Basically, he got a load of money, and then Netflix ultimately decide what they're going to do with the content, right?
But you're saying, from Netflix's point of view, why
are they doing that?
Release it in box office, make the money from that.
Exactly.
People want to see it in cinema, and then it comes out on Netflix anyway. Maybe even a month after it's out. You're not waiting a long time. It's not like when you used to have to wait for a DVD release that was like months later. Yeah, it's the best of both. And 1917. I would. What is it? Is it 1917?
Yeah, 1917.
Yeah, I would have watched that.
That's not a Netflix film.
Did that not go straight to?
No, it's. I think you're thinking of the Western Front.
Oh, that's the one.
Which was released
All
straight.
Quiet on the Western Front.
No marketing campaign around that. At least nothing I saw. and it just popped up. But that would be a film I would sign up to Netflix for. But
but would you not want to watch that in a cinema as well?
Yes,
obviously you want to see that,
and you'll make more money. Yeah.
Cinema, it's like the peak experience. There's films that are made for cinema, All Quiet on the Western Front. It feels like it's made for cinema, and they're going to put it straight on. I'm just going to watch it on my phone.
The biggest issue is going to be for most, like if you're watching films that are made for cinema but they end up on Netflix, the sound is dreadful, and that's why you need subtitles all the time. It's just so flat. You don't have 5.1 surround sound in here. It's just going to sound
it's not the same. It will never be the same because, unless 8K becomes a thing, then maybe it might be okay.
Your TV's great, but you haven't got the audio.
The visuals, I feel like have kind of peaked at 4K. You don't need more
4K.
But what I mean is, if you want the cinema experience at home, notice I said cinema. If you want that at home,
the theater,
8K TV, right? It's just not going to be the same as a cinema.
Yeah.
But why do you have Netflix? Do you have your own Netflix account or
family?
Or is it sister's account? Yeah.
Family.
Okay.
I cancelled.
You cancelled. Why? What's the price nowadays?
I mean, I had to switch to the Philippines, so I was paying £9 a month.
Because you live in the Philippines.
Because I have, I generally have ties to the Philippines.
Jesus, Callum, how long did it take to travel it?
So no, I would say that I would not pay £15 a month for Netflix in the UK.
No,
and I could find a way to pay for it through the Philippines. I could be to Turkey, but that route closed to me, unfortunately. So I couldn't pay £4 a month anymore for premium.
Oh, that's tragic.
I know, it's tragic.
How are we doing for time? I need a wee-wee.
Go for a wee, Ross.
We can continue talking.
Just said wee-wee.
Go for a wee. It's okay. We don't need to stop the podcast for you. I'll just talk for Callum.
Get out.
Go on, I'll let you out.
Yeah, like, man, I've just really given up on... I gave up on Netflix. The only thing I actually use now is YouTube Premium.
Yeah.
100%.
How many ads is it nowadays? I don't even know. Because we got the YouTube Premium account, and then I don't know.
I'm on a family plan. I share it with my dearest friends and obviously my partner. And we, like, I had to go one day with like half an hour without ads on YouTube, and I couldn't deal with it. It was too much.
Half an hour with ads.
Sorry, half an hour watching YouTube with ads, and I couldn't. The amount of pre-roll, the amount of mid-roll, adverts during videos, I couldn't deal with it. So YouTube Premium easily offline. I sound like I'm shilling for YouTube now, but easily worth the money. And I use YouTube Music. I don't have to pay for Spotify anymore. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, obviously a lot of streaming services with the streaming wars.
The fangs.
There's now the AVODs, the AVODs.
Yep.
And who's the main demographic of people that would have signed up to AVOD? Do you know? What type of audience? Because it's not me. I don't want to watch ads.
I don't know. I think there is a market, but everyone has got so used to not having adverts on streaming services.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to not have that, and it works in markets like emerging markets. It definitely works, but in the UK, in the West, in developed, global North countries is what I should define it as. Global North, global South. I think people don't want ads. People are sick of it. And Ross has just returned.
Hello.
What are we talking about?
Enjoy your weekly?
Yeah. So
I had a good urination.
Okay, wonderful. Golden shower. I just felt the need to add that in there. The toilet really enjoyed that experience.
Jesus, Callum, man.
So, what else is on our topic?
Have you ever had a golden shower?
Right, no. So, here's
no.
Right. So now you're back from the toilet. Here's what I would do if I was the CEO of Netflix.
So I thought because you mentioned maybe.
Can you stop talking about piss? Okay, I want to talk about Netflix.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
I guess that's fine.
Calm. Is that reasonable for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was getting into the piss talk, but
no. So if
they call that water sports.
Oh,
need another fucking drink. You know what?
Luke,
I'm gonna take a break.
Are you into water sports?
No.
I meant like paddleboarding and kayaking. You ever kayaked? You ever kayaked with a man?
Just give me straight rum.
Can I have some?
See, I'm completely out of the loop on most programs.
So what do you watch? What do you watch,
Callum? Sell.
Can I?
Right,
can I-
a show you've been watching recently. Sell it to
recently.
us.
So I haven't actually got a series ongoing. I haven't had one for like 2 or 3 months.
Wow.
But the last
3 months ago.
The last really good series I watched was Succession. Do you have any idea what it's about?
Climbing the corporate ladder.
No, not really.
Well, it's Succession, right? It's becoming the new
no, but it's
CEO
about,
or whatever the fuck.
So it's about.
So it's about there's these kingdoms, and in each kingdom there's like someone who wants to rule the throne. Is that not what it's about?
No. So effectively,
Okay.
it's set in the modern day, and it's effectively a big media company called Waystar Royco, who may bear some resemblance to several media companies based in the US. One that has a really big right-wing news channel and also theme park, so make your link there. And it's about a guy who is a ruthless, leader, like pretty much like an autocrat, who rules over the company with an iron fist, and sort of the dodgy dealings that they do to make sure they maintain power, and then also sort of the fights that happen between all of the sons and daughters to try and become the next CEO. It's a really, once you get past the 3rd episode,
I really needed a show
good.
to watch as well.
You should watch it. It's
Dude,
really
I've
good.
given you like a list of 20 things I bet you still haven't watched.
Yeah, but they're all like anime stuff. No, I'm kidding.
It's very.
What have you
talking
been
about?
recommending?
What,
sure I've
you
watched
asking
most-
me what I've recommended to you from like the past
I
12
watch
months?
I
How am
watch
gonna
most
remember?
stuff you recommend.
Okay, like what?
Well,
Can I just say one last thing about Succession? It's got a great theme tune as well. It's great theme tune. That is worth it just for that theme tune to listen to it.
Okay, I'll give it a go because
Who's the sexiest man in Succession? I need another Paul. Who's the sexiest man in Succession?
None of them.
None of them.
No one. Oh god.
They're all. I don't want to watch
Right,
a show at
actually-
all.
Subject change. Who is a sexy celebrity, Callum? Can we have a top 5?
James Corden. James Corden's on my brain at the moment. I don't know why.
Because you're talking about lesbian vampire killers.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that was a film.
Yeah, I
it's probably
saw-
only 10 years
It
ago.
came up like the other day, and I was like, I thought it was a fake poster. Like I was like, oh, they made that.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
We should watch that.
No, that's not.
We should watch that and,
Or-
give a
Should we
review
watch
of it.
Cats? Should we have
Oh, not Cats.
Do you want to have a James movie marathon? James
Corden actually
James
sucks. Like my mum bought me his autobiography because I don't know why. She always gets me really good presents, and I don't know why she thought, like, we used to watch League of Their Own as a family, and I don't know if you ever watched that.
I know.
And obviously,
I don't
like
think I want to.
everyone likes Gavin and Stacey. Like, there's like,
yeah.
Well,
but
that's where
I think
people
she took
liked
that.
him.
I think she took that and she was like, "Oh, Ross fucking loves James Corden." It's literally in
And
the.
that's all your Christmas presents ever since.
I've got one of those like Ottoman beds, and I just threw it in the back of the bed. I don't even want it on my bookshelf. Like, get that book away. He's such a pillock, man. Oh god, have you heard all like the stories about people that have worked with him and like?
Yeah, didn't he get cancelled? What was?
No, the reason. So the thing that came out was that he was at a restaurant, and like was being like, I don't even know what he said. Like, you can look it up, but he was like, "Do you know who I am?" Like,
That
he was
kind of
doing all that kind of like grandstanding bullshit, and like, and then there was all like, as long as he's been famous, people have come out saying like, yeah, he's a dickhead, basically. Like, he's like,
How
not friend.
surprising.
Yeah, it's all persona on screen. He's like rude to people. He doesn't know the names of any of the staff that work on the shows. He doesn't care. Like, he's not interested. So I think that story came out, and because I can't remember what the outcome of it. Like, they sued him, or he made it public, or they made it. Something came out, and then what happened was people started coming out and saying like, "Oh yeah, did you know this? Did you know this?" But he's always been a dickhead. Like, he has not changed. And it's just, I don't, like, how many things have you watched him do that's just cringe?
I mean, if I relate
He's just
that
the
back
king of cringe.
to what you do, it's kind of, you know, you can't really change, can you? You just
But it's embarrassing for, like, that's like one of our biggest exports to the US is James Corden. And they're all just like, you guys suck.
To be fair, I think
you
you
guys thought
Towie, which is good.
They're like, you guys thought this was your best. This is your best guy that you're sending overseas. Like, this is the man. So no, we think he sucks as well. I'm happy he's over there. Like, you don't see him on UK TV anymore, so that's a good thing. But
because they never actually broadcast.
Well, no, that's not true.
Maybe I should read the book.
Come on, half the good actors doing American accents are British actors. Is that a fair comment?
I mean, I wouldn't say half, but a fair number.
A fair number.
Because we're the best.
Right, okay, but considering how small of a country we are to how big the States is, come on. Like, in terms of population, like actor ratio amount, that's like that's a good ROI, I think.
My mum always, like, I'll be watching something, she'll be like, why are you always listening to like these? Because Americans, like, they're always shouting. Like, what if you're watching, like, I don't know, fucking YouTube, they are always yelling at each other. So you're always listening to, like, really shouty, like, like, who are these Americans you're listening to? Like, she'll think I'm, like, on the phone with someone and I'm, like, listening to a podcast in the shower or something. Yeah, she doesn't like shouty Americans either.
I think it's a British thing.
Is that xenophobia?
I think they're just
Is that what that is?
I don't
Is that the
think
wrong
so.
word?
I think it's just a preference. Yeah.
I think they're just overly energetic and enthusiastic and positive about everything.
Like that video I sent the other day about Hugh Grant, people in the US at the Oscars thought he was being rude, when in fact, like, to a British person, he just didn't want to tolerate their BS.
No, the questions
No,
are bad.
he was just answering things honestly. That's all it was.
I
He
think-
was just like, oh, how was this? Yeah, it was all right.
I was reading the comments and I didn't see any takes that were just like, they were just bad questions. Like, she's asking him, what was it like filming The Glass Onion? And he's like, I was in it for 2. Like, you wouldn't ask.
Yeah, I did
question.
a cameo. Why I wasn't
You
even.
would
in
ask
this
him
film.
about, surely there's something else he's been working on for like the last year. Like, let's take it.
What's he going to say? Oh yeah, this was a fantastic experience.
It was a fun scene.
I love working with Daniel Craig. Like, it was the highlight of my career. The 3 seconds.
It's a bad question. Like,
yeah.
She's asked him the question. I'm assuming she's like, she's been given a load of notes that are like, starred in this, did this, and she's just, because these celebrities that do all these press tours, so many people interview them and they've just got notes, like and that's why they get so, like, infuriated, like, going around, so what was it like working with this actress, what was it like when you shared a kiss, like, it's all the same, like, 5-10 questions. So I think he's feeling a bit of that, where it's just like, he's probably thinking, I know you probably haven't watched the film, know nothing about me, and that's just one of your notes you've got written.
But
you've starred in this film. What was that like?
Was that at the bottom of the list of her questions? And it's just because he didn't give a proper answer to any of the other ones that, running out of time now, or this is like, I'm really running out of options here.
No, it's a bad question. And it's also like, it's so broad. It's just like, what was that like?
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's a million things. Like, ask me a specific question. Like, what was it like working? What was it? Who's he in the film? Who's he in the relationship with? It's Daniel Craig.
Do you know what? I can't even remember.
I don't know. What was it like? You could have asked a more specific question than just like, what? It's like the classic interview, like, where'd you get your ideas? Like, it's that kind of level where it's just like, this question means nothing.
Almost too open.
So, like, impossibly open to where it's just like, you're not even asking a question at that point. It's almost like, if you say, like, where'd you get your ideas?
What's the meaning of life?
You speak now. Like, I'm done with my question. Yeah.
I don't know.
Can I pitch a show that I really like that neither of you have actually seen it? Have either of you watched Nathan For You?
Never even heard of it.
So maybe that's a start. Right, Nathan For You is a kind of mockumentary reality TV show. And what he does in the show is he'll go to a business, like, it could be any business. I sell ice cream, I sell TVs, and he'll come up with, like, a business plan to, like, how we're going to make loads of money and how we're going to fix all your problems. And it's like 30-minute show in the classic, like, reality TV, like, format of, like, there'll be like 3 parts and it'll switch around. But the whole time he's like, his ideas are always just ludicrous. but he plays it deadpan, like he plays it with a straight face. And because the cameras are around and because that people on TV, they it's almost like a social experiment. It's like, what will people agree to do? And you can watch the very first episode, which is, I guess, a good example, is like he goes to like an ice cream shop and he's like, oh, you know, like how are businesses getting attention these days? Like
you've
how
recommended me this. No, you've told me about. I'm just remembering now, and I never watched it. So you clearly didn't sell it the first time because I didn't watch.
Maybe you're just maybe you just don't know, can't listen to reason.
Was it on the Hulu?
It's not your sales pitch.
First episode, he goes and he basically says, "Oh, we're gonna make a poo flavor." But you would everything in your brain is like, no one would agree to any of this. Like, no, you would go no, but because it's like that, the way they build it up, and it's like, oh, I'm on TV, and this is the business expert. People will just go along with whatever fucking idea he comes up with. So he did that show for like 5 or 6 seasons, and on HBO he did like a special like 6-part.
Oh, it's on HBO, so that's okay then.
So he did it. So
yeah,
this is not. That's just like that's where he came from. So that's what he got known doing, and you still got to watch that because that's banging as well. But coming off of that, he did a show called The Rehearsal. And the whole premise of the show, and actually I can't really tell you any, like, it really is a show where the more you know, the less you know, the better.
So this is on HBO?
Yeah, so Nathan For You is, I think, on Prime now. It used to only be on Hulu, so now it's on Prime.
So, sorry, I'm confused. HBO, then Hulu, then Prime?
No. Nathan For You, which is his first show, was a Hulu original. Prime now have it, so if you want to watch it.
So where did HBO come from?
HBO is The Rehearsal, which is his brand new show, which is what I'm pitching.
Okay.
Right? So that's on HBO. It's called The Rehearsal, and the very basic premise is, what if you could, and if there's any situation going on in your life where you're like, oh, I'm nervous about telling this person that I've got to fire them, or I don't want to tell my girlfriend that I shat in the bed, and whatever thing you're like worried about. What if you could play out that scenario over and over and over to like make it so you have no more nerves because I've literally lived this scenario. So HBO give him a massive budget, and that's just the premise he gets to run with. It's
very open.
You'll think he's gone, this is the most absurd waste of money. Why, like, what is going on?
Why'd you spend your budget on this?
And then he'll do the next thing. You're like, Jesus Christ! Like, this is just like, for like the tiniest, like, he's trying to build realism, but the lengths he'll go to like to recreate a scenario are like absurd, and it's just the best. Like watching it. There are certain shows where it's like, oh, it's better on second time watch. I feel like watching it for the first time is like insane.
So if you can sum it up in 30 seconds, elevator pitch, tell me. 5.
Luke, do you have any regrets in your life? Have there ever been times where you just wanna go back and wish I'd done this differently? I wish I'd said it differently.
Not become friends with you.
I wish I'd never met Ross because he's so handsome and I keep looking into his eyes. Well, there's a show out there that lives out that fantasy, and it's absurd and ridiculous, and the lengths they'll go to meet that fantasy are ridiculous, and it's very enjoyable. Watch it. I'll be really upset. That was good.
Fair enough. I'll let you off with that.
Can you actually watch it? Because I want to talk about it. It's really fun. It's a good show.
Send it on WhatsApp later.
Yeah.
So I remember. Otherwise, I won't remember. I'll watch one episode.
How do you watch HBO in the UK?
HBO in the... What? Right. Can I just have a little rant? Why is HBO Max not in the UK yet? I know they have a deal with Sky.
And that's your answer? They have like a 10-year deal with
Sky has everything.
Okay, but how long is...
Everything.
I think it runs out in 2025.
2025?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're
Sky
not going
is,
to renew this
for all intents and purposes, HBO. But how much does it
they're not.
Sky?
But they're not, because the problem is, not all the content from HBO Max actually goes on...
Because there's a difference between HBO and HBO Max. Because ultimately, HBO Max is, going to be Warner Media.
Everything they have.
It will be Discovery Plus. But HBO is the channel in the US, which is quality. HBO Max's quality and less quality.
HBO is the shit.
So when HBO
make
Max
good
were
stuff.
doing the illogical, stupid decision of releasing all their films for free on HBO Max, so I remember watching Zack Snyder's Justice League, and that was released on Sky. Watch it through now on whatever.
Okay, interesting. Use now.
I
Or do you use another service?
I do have now. How do you think I watched it? You think I'm?
How do you think I watched it? I don't have Now
Sorry.
TV.
What's Beeflix?
What is Beeflix?
I don't know what Beeflix.
That's
is.
exactly how I
What's
watched
S?
it.
No,
Beeflix, I've not heard about
are
it.
you announcing to the world, Ross,
Beeflix
that you're,
is the shit.
you're a piece of shit and you don't pay for your
Beeflix-
content that you consume?
Beeflix is top
Do you
dollar.
not use S-Flix?
What's Sflix?
Or
That's the
back
same
in the
thing.
old day, Flixanity. That was a
I
good
have
one.
seen
All the
Beeflix.
flicks.
Sorry,
All the flicks are
anyway.
good. Salmon flicks.
Do you know of a fire stick, mate?
Oh yeah.
Anyway, we shouldn't be on this conversation. Go back to what you were saying.
What was I saying?
Don't pay for any media.
You was talking about
I have the
how,
memory of a goldfish, okay? I
how
can't
Sky
remember the
didn't
first
have all the HBO content.
No, and I remember the Godzilla film. That wasn't on there. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. And then I got pissed off that I had to pay
but the
20 quid
difference is
for a
that was
rental.
on HBO Max.
But it was on HBO Max for free, which I couldn't get.
Yeah, but no. Because the thing is, HBO, it's HBO channel content, not HBO
HBO
Max.
channel content goes to Sky,
Yes.
but nothing else. And therefore they don't, I'm thinking people in America, they get to see this Godzilla
I mean,
film
ultimately,
for free on their
it was their
service if you pay
strategy.
for it, but then I can't get it and I have to pay £20 for a rental, which I think is ludicrous. And what happens when the rentals are the same cost in dollars than they are to pounds? And we all know how the pound's doing right now. And I just think, well,
that annoys
I mean,
me.
we
what
need
happened
to-
to the exchange rate?
I mean, we need to thank Lizzie for that, don't we? Not. I was about to say dead Lizzie.
Who?
Not
The lettuce?
Liz Truss, lettuce.
Lettuce
not our
Truss?
late queen.
Are we getting political right now?
I mean,
Yeah, we're getting political right now.
I mean, you know,
You go from a lettuce to a wishy-washy rishy.
what a mess. What a mess.
What do you think of Rishi?
Wishy-washy.
There's so much.
I think he's a handsome boy.
He's very short. Both. I noticed.
No. Callum's the expert.
You know, I
Okay.
noticed President Emmanuel Macron and Rishi Sunak, both short leaders, very short men. I
I need
think
a tall boy. How tall's Labour man? Keir Starmer.
Keir Starmer, my man.
Is he a tall boy?
I don't know. He looks taller than Sunak. I think with
So
Sunak,
that's an immediate +2
Height's
points.
important
No.
for a leader.
no, I think ultimately.
How are you going to follow someone if you can't see him?
Callum, how much is height important to you? Because
What's the context?
In a leader.
girls are like, well, if you're the same height as me, that's just gone. So
So
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't think it matters too much, but it's noticeable.
do you know what? Everything.
He's very short.
So sorry, can I just say everything before the word "but" is bullshit.
No, after.
Oh, yeah. I know what you
It's
meant.
after.
No, it's before.
After the but.
No, it's before.
No, it is
'Cause-
before. No, it is
it's
before.
before because you say, "Oh, here's my positive thing that I have to say just because it's culturally
Yeah.
appropriate,"
It's- everything
and then
before is
everything after
bullshit.
"but" is then what you actually think.
Okay.
So you're doing it wrong.
So he is.
Luke, I really like the way you poured my drink earlier, but a little less head next time.
But yeah, I think that, this conservative government is in its last dying days. We're going to have another 18 months to 2 years, and I think that the concern I have. So I love current affairs. I love politics. I love keeping up to date. I have a lot of concern about the way this country is going. We're seeing far right fascistic organizations on our streets. I have concerns. Today they're going after the boats, which really in the grand scheme of things is not a big problem. It needs to be tackled, yes, but the way they're tackling it is not accurate. But what's to say, what about illegal immigrants next? Why not go after them? What about the gays? What about female rights? It's a slippery slope, and that's my
What
concern.
groups are leading this?
Well, ultimately, it's being
Is it
pushed.
like Daily Mail?
It's being pushed by a lot of the right-leaning media.
which is a good chunk of
British UK media.
I think an important thing to say, like just for context for viewers here, is you used to vote Conservative.
I used to be a member.
So when you say this, that's actually like, that's how much they've really doing it wrong.
I've gone on a very long political journey to the point where I'm now very centre left. I am very, I would definitely vote to rejoin the European Union. I'd vote to join Schengen. I'd vote to join the Euro. I believe that we are better in common defence and prosperity than we are as divided, and which is a very big change from my previous positions.
What do you think about people that say we should build a wall?
Where?
Well, along the English Channel, I guess.
Along the coast.
I
mean,
stop
the boats, right? We'll build a wall and we'll get France to pay
I mean,
what do you think about these
that's
jokers that think we should build a wall?
But I mean, what are we going to do? Like the Simpsons movie, do a big bubble over the UK so nobody can come in and out?
Listen, I'm not one of these jokers. We'll make the Europeans pay for it.
You just stole my joke.
Oh, well.
Okay, well, let's move on from Donny T.
If it was a good joke, why didn't you laugh at it?
I don't think you listened. I think you're just talking over me at that moment in time.
I do think that we will get a change of government. It will not be all the change we need in this country. We'd need a minimum of 2 terms at least, 2 full 5 years.
Yeah.
But I still think that we've got fundamental issues in this country which we need to address.
What's your top 3? Top 3 fundamental issues.
I think ultimately we need to move towards a more hybrid. Do you know, annoying thing that happens is often people talk about Singapore on Thames and turning the UK into Singapore on Thames. Do you know what this is?
I've heard the concept.
So basically, a lot of people see Singapore as like this utopia for taxation.
Right.
But the thing they forget to mention is that in Singapore, you have to pay a large chunk of your salary into effectively a government bank account. And then you then spend that on your services. For example, everyone has universal healthcare. Everyone get access to that. But you can pay for a basic bed, or you can pay for like a luxury 5-star room based on your bank account balance, but everyone still gets access to the same core service. So it's a bit unfair when you make comparisons to that. But the priority for our country, infrastructure investment is the biggest one. Things like HS2, high-speed rail, we really need to invest in things like that, because the issue today, the reason why trains up north are so unreliable is because you've got fast trains on old tracks. You need more capacity, build it. You need to invest in fibre. Every single house in this country needs fibre into the premise to connect the whole country. Like, ditch this whole BS about work from home not being good for the economy. It's good for local communities. People go out and about. People might not spend as much in London anymore, but they spend stuff in their local shops.
People need Fortnite in their homes.
Yeah. And I think we need to re-engage with Europe, but we also need to keep engagement with our Western allies. We need to obviously ally with democracies across the globe, including regions that are under threat, whether that's Taiwan, whether that's the Philippines. We need to stand by those democracies that need our support. And I think finally, so this is like my manifesto.
This is your this is your motivational speech.
When are you running?
One day. But I think we just, and also in terms of the taxation system, like I think we do need to go towards a Nordic model. I love.
Should we just rebrand our podcast? Vote for Elsden.
I love the Nordics, like Finland, Norway, Sweden. Sweden's got these problems at the moment with guns, but working on that. But in terms of,
let's not talk about Sweden too much, Callum.
In terms of the Nordics, I think they've got the correct model. There's things we could do better, but the taxation model works, and I think there's fair access to systems. So ultimately, I think it's about fair access to the government services that's equal to all, and we stand up for democracy across the world. And I've realised that's a bit wish-washy at the end, but that's That's what
Did
I
you
focus
get?
on.
Did you get ChatGPT to generate that speech?
No, that was from my mind.
Did you ask for world peace for Christmas? No, I think that's very fair.
So I think I hope we get a change soon. I think we need it. I think.
But like you said, we're not going to get a change until the next vote comes in. And do you think that will bring the change we need?
I think we need a change in party for sure. My concern is if the Labour Party have to try and attain too much of the Conservative vote, that they try to, co-opt some of their policies. Like they're not speaking out enough about this refugee policy.
Do you think they can like bait everyone and be like, yeah, we're going to do all these stuff
That's what they all
and
accuse.
And then at the
Keir
end they just go,
Starmer of.
whoop, we're just going to do what we wanted to in the manifesto.
I hope, part of me hopes that they do one thing and then say
sorry,
one
what
thing.
are you saying?
Yeah.
Are you saying they're gonna do what they're gonna say, whatever the fuck they need to say, just to get in, and then they're gonna go and do their own thing?
They're going to say a load of shit that all the Daily Mail readers want to hear,
Right.
and then just
Yeah.
Keir Starmer needs to go on a stage and be like, yeah, these fucking transgenders, like, just go on a rant, and then all the Daily Mail people be like, this is our guy. And then the next day, yeah, he gets elected.
Well, we've roasted that. I'm never going to get a job at the Daily Mail after this, not that one.
I mean,
that
have you been on their website? Have you been on their website?
No, I don't read it.
No, but you go on there.
Comments, man.
It's horrible.
Oh my God, the comments sometimes.
It's horrible.
Where's the comments not horrible?
I'm trying to think it's all celebrity gossip bullshit, but there was this girl who...
Do you know what the biggest issue is?
guy
If your company pre-installs Microsoft Edge and then you get MSN come
I'm going to
up,
misquote this. Right.
and then you get the Daily Mail is like every single story.
Oh my
That's
God.
like default.
Yeah. No, there was this story, only because I read the comments like this. It was about, there was this like guy who was like this Essex geese. Maybe he was on The Only Way is Essex. He was like a bit of a micro celebrity. Slept with this girl who was on Love Island, and basically put on his OnlyFans account without her permission a recording of them
It
sleeping
went to
together.
court, didn't it?
It went to court,
Yeah.
and he's going to prison now.
Oh,
Fuck me, I read the.
I heard about this. I just
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah.
he's going to prison.
Fuck me, I read the comments of this. And it was it's just the worst. The worst it was all just
For
like
example,
it was it's like because obviously the sex tape's out there. Yeah. Oh, she's a whore just like it. Oh, she acts all prim and proper and she's just a slag like the rest. It's like it was her boyfriend at the time. She's allowed to have sex with him. Like, I don't know what you're trying to say.
how dare you?
What would be like? What?
How the audacity?
I
Of
don't know
having
what.
sex with
Yeah,
your
I don't know what the angle is there, but yeah,
Yeah,
It
they
was
were
awful.
misdirecting the anger at her and not him for being in the wrong.
yeah.
That.
But, like, that just goes back to the whole.
Can I tell you something? The same family that owned the Daily Mail that printed, in the 1930s about how they supported the black shirts in Germany. That is shocking that the same lineage of family, and today they're printing, the bullshit about immigration that they do. It is despicable what they're doing to this country. And the fact that they've still got so much control. And the problem is that them, as a corporation, as a news media outlet, they still have such intensive sway, even though people aren't buying papers, because they then influence what Sky News, what the BBC News, what ITV News talk about.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yep.
Do you agree with Lineker?
Mate, he had the bossest move. This is how the whole thing went. It was like, Gary, you can't say whatever you want. We're taking you off telly. He was like, okay. And yeah, well, actually,
I'm bringing all my mates with me.
Sorry, Gary, if you apologise, we'll let you back on. He's like, no, I don't want to apologise. They're like, well, Gary, if you don't apologise, we're going to get other people they're going to take your spot. And then the other people were like, no, we don't want to do it either. And then like, but Gary, but if you did apologise, it would sort. He was like, no, I'm not going to. And then they were like, we've come to an agreement. Gary Lineker's going to get back on telly. It's like, yeah, like literally he was just like, yeah, he did not have to compromise at all, which I really respect.
But obviously, he's made a social post. It's not like he done it on air. I mean, obviously there was a there was what I would say a left-leaning opinion when the World Cup was on. This was an opinion that specifically spoke out against what the government's doing.
Rightly
and then
so.
they're like, well, that's just too far because you're now
but
speaking
I
about a
don't-
specific policy that's happened and you're saying it's crap.
I don't think people think of Gary Lineker as like a BBC representative. He's his own person. So I think the whole obviously there's like a kind of a compliance thing that the BBC have to juggle.
If you look at, there is a grey area, but ultimately, the way I understand it is the BBC rules apply to people who are fully employed by the BBC, and ultimately, under the various tax rules, Gary Lineker is like a contractor effectively.
Yeah, I was going to say he must be a contract.
So he's not technically relevant, but there is like a very vague line that says if you represent the BBC, but he wasn't. It's very complicated.
He wasn't like, as a representative of BBC,
Yeah.
I'm sharing my opinion.
But come on, like it's just, what was it on Twitter? It was
Twitter.
on Twitter, right?
Twitter.
Twitter.
Are you Australian or American?
Get
or
on
something?
Twitter.
Why does it matter? Like, does anyone actually care?
Do you know what
How
the
many
biggest? Do you
people
know what the
even
biggest
saw that
problem I
tweet?
had with this whole non-story with Gary Lineker, and I agree. I agreed with the sentiment of his tweet, is the fact that was the leading story on BBC News, ITV. That was the leading story, and not critiquing the government policy.
But if we switch on our marketing brains for a second, do we just think people are more interested in that clickbait?
It is, but it's not what should be.
It's just a
Not from the
distraction,
BBC.
isn't it?
What do you mean?
Or what from the BBC specifically? Or I mean, we can expect
Across
the
the
Daily
board.
Mails and
Across the board, it was always the leading story over the actual policy for like 5 days. What? 5 days?
How is that holding anyone's attention for
5 days at
days?
least.
that's because the football was crap.
I don't know.
That's why. That's
So,
where it blown up.
the
You're like,
most
oh my
wildest shit
god,
can
my
happen.
sport's just been ruined.
The most wildest shit can happen, and it'll be in the news for one day. And we're talking about a fucking BBC presenter and some tweets for 5 days in the media.
I think
current
absolutely
media
everyone
cycle.
can agree, whatever your political opinion is. that
You
it's
don't need to. You don't need to
ridiculous this is
agree.
even
You
a
don't even need to
topic.
agree with what he's saying.
It's
Just the fact that he
ridiculous
would get.
that he's got
I
that much
thi-
attention.
I would say the fact that, and it's the norm now, and it will probably be the norm forever. The fact that your employers are allowed to give a shit about what you do on your personal social media, because
Yeah.
especially the internet now is everything. Like social media is public and everywhere and everything. But the idea that
Everywhere
like
all at once.
yeah, the idea that like if it's in like a group chat or if you're down the pub with your mates, you should really be able to just, even if you're just you should be able to say whatever you want. And I feel like social media when it started, it almost was like,
Whatever you
oh,
want.
this is
What-
me and
right,
my
okay,
mates.
what's the line? What's the line?
Okay.
What can we say on this podcast that's reaching? That's too much.
Okay, I'm going to say a load of words now. No, I mean, there's
nobody should be able to say what they want. But
what? What do you mean?
No. Everyone's allowed to say.
Nobody
whatever-
should be able to
Yeah,
say
I'm-
what they want.
You can say whatever you want, but that doesn't stop an employer deciding to sack you, right? I'm allowed to say whatever I want, but obviously, in Lineker's case, I think it's harmless. It's an opinion. It's not like you're saying some outright racist, discriminatory stuff.
I think in a perfect world, you'd have here's your work persona, here's your personal stuff. If I want to send Luke a stupid message that we find funny,
But then, just to play devil's advocate, what about Elon Musk, where he's just like, I think the stock price is too high, and then it.
yeah, but that's his.
sink.
if it was Elon Musk sending some, I don't know, on his personal Facebook to his mates back home, and no one
It's not the Lineker situation. Is not his mates back home. It's on Twitter.
I'm just
Twitter.
Twitter.
Who says Twitter?
Just everyone on YouTube. It's all American, right?
I think it'd be
It's conditioned my brain.
I think as a principle, like it shouldn't be the business of your employer what you're doing on your personal social media. It is, and it will. I understand it is, and I understand it will be, and they're all till the end of time. They're going to be looking up your, but it shouldn't actually be any. All they should care about is your LinkedIn. What are you putting out? I'm going to ring up your previous employers and work out how good you are as an employee. They shouldn't be like going through like your Facebook from 2008 and like trying to pick shit out.
Worked out for James Gunn though in the end, didn't it? Now he's head of DC Studios after but do you know about James Gunn?
No idea who he is.
He got sacked from Disney for like a tweet that he made
he made a bunch of jokes
way too edgy
in like 20
from like 15 years ago or something ridiculous. And he made those jokes and then
they randomly went viral because someone picked up on
and
that.
then someone on Twitter picked it up, you know, like, oh my god, this guy can't go, I need to cancel him. And then he got sacked, and as a result, the main competitor
to Marvel,
to Marvel, DC, they're like, oh yeah, can you do this film? Oh, that was great, really good film. And then Marvel hired him against Suicide Squad. No one watched it. Irrelevant. It's really good though.
The first one or the newer one?
The new one.
Oh, that was actually okay.
Isn't one called Suicide Squad and the other one The Suicide Squad?
Yeah, The Suicide Squad is James Gunn's one.
But why did they have the same name for the film? Why didn't they just...
Because the first one was crap, so it's a sequel, but it's not a sequel, and it's just whatever. Anyway, it was good, but no one watched it. But that was because of that whole HBO Max releasing films for free. Absolute ridiculous.
I think I watched it in cinema.
I watched it in cinema, but no one else did because it made no money.
Did it?
No, it absolutely bombed.
I didn't know that.
They released it for free.
I thought it was well
on
liked.
HBO Max. But yeah, so anyway, and then Disney realised, oh, actually, we hired like one of our best directors, fired even, got him back. But then as a result, he's now working with the competitor and both of them. And now he's like...
So he's quit him.
And now he's the head of the whole studio. So it can work out. You know, send an edgy tweet and maybe you'll get like a pay rise. Yeah. That's the moral of the story, right? So just send an edgy tweet. That will solve your career. Yeah.
Don't
do it.
My advice would be, don't ever tweet an opinion ever.
Just, you know what? And then don't talk. Just go mute.
No, and then when you think of, and then when you're like, well, this is a reasonable opinion, maybe I'll post this. Don't. And then you're fine.
No, because there's always someone who won't think you're being reasonable. Just
opinion pops in your head. Tell it to the person next to you. Share it with your friends and family. Don't ever put it on the internet. I think that's pretty solid advice.
Just don't use the internet. Let's just not upload.
Don't use social.
Yeah. Go off the grid. Move to the mountains. Live in a shack. How's your gym going?
It's going well.
Yeah?
Saw my transformation pic.
I saw that. That's nice.
Yeah. So Alex.
Callum's jacked under that.
Yeah.
Under that shirt.
It's going. Yeah. Well, we're getting there. Like, I think I should have maybe some visible abs by summer.
Yeah. What's your like?
What's my goal?
What's your goal?
What's my goal? I want bigger arms. Like my arms have got bigger. Like you can't really see it, not big, but like I wanna have like pictures when I'm in the Philippines and I look at it and I think, I look yummy, I look hot.
Yeah,
that's what I sort of want. We'll get there, but I mean the difference is now I'm actually enjoying going to the gym.
Nice,
which is a big change. You know, I like when I was growing up, I hated sport, hated PE. Like a few times, and I do apologize to the I do apologize to the PE staff at my school. Like I did ask my mum to do like the illness letter so I could sit it out because I hated it. Yeah, I enjoy the gym now. I enjoy going. I go 5 days a week for like 2.5 hours each.
5 days a week.
So I do like 12.5 hours a week.
Jeez, you're making me feel so self-conscious.
Yeah. I need to get into it. I'm going, but I'm not going.
And I.
Frequently,
and I think it's getting into that swing of it. Like I have a gym membership in my town, and I go there most of it, and then I have a pure gym, off peak where I go before work sometimes. And and that really motivates me, because like if I don't use it, it's a waste of money. But if I'm going like 4 or 5 times a week, that is like cheap. That's like the cheapest activity I can do.
What are you like training?
Are
you doing cardio? You
no.
lifting weights?
So with my shout out to trainer Alex.
Shout out Alex.
Shout out. This is Kiss FM. God, that's so cringe. You know, like when they used to go shout out to XYZ.
Yeah.
No. So it's a mix. It's like push, pull, lower, upper arms.
Are you like weight training? Like
So it's a mix. So generally, it works out. The majority of what he sets me is weight training, and then it's always ending with 35 minutes cardio.
Callum's gonna get jacked.
So
have you tried the One Punch Man challenge?
No.
So the One Punch Man challenge is every single day you have to do a 10-kilometer run, 100
Well, I
push-ups,
failed on day 1.
100 sit-ups, and 100 squats.
Okay.
Every day.
Body squats.
Yeah, just body squats.
That's pretty brutal still. That is actually horrible.
Yeah.
100. Yeah, no. Who's doing that? Like, who's doing that? Joe Rogan.
Yeah, but
No.
Yeah, but it's not fun.
No, there's not many human beings.
It's not fun though.
No, that's fine. Like, that is like.
Well, that's why it's a challenge. Challenges aren't meant to be fun.
I mean, yeah. What's it called? What's the challenge called?
The One Punch Man challenge. It's based off an anime from One
Can I
Punch Man.
divide it by 10? I can do 1K, 10 push-ups, and 10 squats.
I don't think you'll get the results you need. You certainly won't beat Callum's discipline.
I've lost since October. I've lost 12 kg.
Okay, I've probably gained that.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, I lost 12 kg.
Wow.
So
But you had an extra 12 kg to what you are now?
yeah,
It's all ass.
thick.
But you look, well, at least with clothes on.
I saw.
Don't
Have you
take
seen the
them off,
pics? Have you seen the pics?
No, I haven't seen the pics.
It's on his Instagram.
Well, it was on my story.
Yeah.
So it's
Well, are
disappeared.
you sending like progress pictures?
So every week, so I have to do a check-in form every Friday and progress pictures.
That's cool.
I send-
But
I
not on
then-
Instagram.
No. So there's
So
an
it's
app.
just Ross talking absolute nonsense.
No, he
so
put-
my trainer posted the progress pics on Instagram
Oh, from
And-
like people he's supporting or
because,
helping.
because obviously he wants more customers and he wants to see that I'm progressing.
Ah, right, okay.
So-
That's fair enough.
When
That's just
Callum's got
marketing.
washboard
I
abs,
appreciate
they'll
that.
put another pic on there.
You know,
and then everyone will
you
sign
know
up.
that's perfectly fair game, because you're not posting, pictures about your own body. That's not.
Yeah.
You're not promoting yourself.
No, and
You're not like, look at me. It's like, no, it's marketing. It's marketing. for a
But you
business.
should be like, you should be proud of that. That's good.
Yeah, so I think, if I can really at the moment we're sort of on like I guess you call it cutting, but body recomposition. I need to get, my fat level is about 14% at the moment. Basically,
Do you know your fat level?
there's a machine
I
at
haven't
the
even
gym,
weighed myself.
No, a lot of people do look at body fat percentage.
because that's probably more of a thing than your actual weight.
Yeah, because your weight, you could just be tall, you could be short. Like your body fat percentage is more.
What's the thing, like the BMI?
It's not.
But I know it's kind of bullshit. But I've now just
Similar kind of concept,
Just
actually.
to
but-
give context, I am 6'1". Would you agree?
Yeah, we're all about the same.
Okay, I've just gone overweight on the BMI.
Okay.
I've just breached that.
How are you measuring that? Are you on the Wii Fit board?
Dude, I don't even know.
You
where
know when
my
it used to
Nintendo
go,
Wii
you just
is.
go like measuring.
Wii Fit board's like, you're a fat fuck.
And then it goes-
Get your shit together.
It's going,
I'm like 8 years old. I'm like, I've got my BMI.
I
up.
remember it being very inconsistent.
Yeah.
Or just completely.
But yeah, it's like I'm enjoying it, and it's not a chore. Even though I'm waking up at like on the work days.
So this podcast is.
I don't even want to know what time Callum's waking up.
So
at.
if I go up to London and go to the gym before work, I wake up at 4. If I'm going to the gym and I'm working from home, I wake up at 5:30 ish.
Dude, I wake up at like 2 minutes to 9 and then start work.
When do you go to sleep?
10
Do
after
you
10.
sleep? Is he even human?
You genuinely, Callum, you're one of those people who who literally needs.
And I'm doing my blog as well.
Can we
Less
talk
sleep
about
to
Callum's
function.
apps? Like, well, let's bring this right back to the start of this podcast and talk about our apprenticeship together. We go out to 2 a.m. maybe. He's doing Jaeger bombs and all sorts. He's throwing up everywhere. You think he's going to be the last?
That was
person
once
up.
in Romford, or once.
Callum threw up everywhere. It's gross.
Yeah, that was.
Threw up in your glass and then
Threw up in
put
his.
back in.
He didn't do that.
I didn't do that last part.
That's gross.
I ran to the toilet actually.
Callum was immune.
No, sorry. You drunk it and then immediately.
Sorry, I
threw it.
drunk the Jaeger bomb. I was sick in my mouth, but it didn't come out. A little tiny bit, maybe. Then I ran to the toilet, and
Proceeded
it
to make no
evacuated.
one else go in there.
yeah.
But yeah, Callum was one of those really fun people who never actually had a hangover, and would just wake up.
No. It's
bright and early.
the power of paracetamol. That's
I don't
all.
want to hear that. The power. If only I could have some of the hangovers I've had. If I could just have a bloody paracetamol.
You know, we went out at Christmas, but just before Christmas. It was like,
Which one? There's
the
a lot
one
of
just
Christmases,
gone.
Callum.
The one just gone.
Where did we go?
We went.
Simmons?
What did we do?
We went for steak.
Oh, yeah.
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 And then we
Oh
went
my
Simmons.
God! The next day.
No, and then we went Simmons afterwards.
yeah,
Yeah.
the next day. Oh my God! Like I couldn't even keep water down. It was that bad.
Yeah.
Really?
Awful. Yeah.
Was
To
that
be
Holborn?
fair-
Oh, Holborn.
Holborn. Yeah.
But to be fair, I left before you did.
Because I left
so.
and I thought you would have. Again, I thought you would have like. I was like, oh,
Just
Callum
bounced
must have
back.
already left. It's like I actually left while he was still
No,
in bed.
Callum's fine. He's already working before you.
No, I left while he was in bed. It was like a miracle to me.
Yeah. I was rough. I was on the phone to my partner.
I was trying to get Callum to come out as well, and he wouldn't come out.
Yeah.
Callum, the night's young.
Yeah.
You were egging him on.
Yeah.
I was on the phone to my partner.
Do you know? I think.
And I was just like, I'm sorry, Lloyd, I really need to just go to the toilet. I can't talk to you. So I just threw the phone on the bed and just run to the toilet. And I just couldn't
Yeah, a little
keep anything
sickie.
down. It was just water.
Oh.
I was awful.
Wait, but
But
how?
to be fair,
No.
Callum, I think you go one of two ways. I think you're like super sensible, and
Yeah.
you just don't indulge. You're like 2 drinks, and I'm just like, okay, I'm done. And then the opposite is you get absolutely plastered, and you're grabbing people's thighs, and you're slapping them left, right, and centre in the arse. You know, you're giving them a good time. You're.
We need to cut that out.
We need to cut. I'll bleep that out.
You just say, we're having a great time.
We're having a
I feel
great
like that's got to
time.
be a hot cut.
That's good.
That can't be a bleep. Then it's just like, what did he say?
Look, listen, it's fine. Okay, I'm not gonna sue you. Okay, it's perfectly acceptable.
We had lots of fun times.
I didn't give
together.
my consent, but it's fine. It's, you know.
You can't say that.
So the weather.
Okay.
What do we reckon? What do we think?
About what?
Opinions?
No, let's just no.
Okay.
Look, every single time people talk about, you know, whenever you join a Teams call at work, and
Yeah.
every single time when people don't know what they want to say, it's like, oh, how's the weather where you are?
I did that.
Do you know my favourite?
This is such a dead conversation.
It's the only conversation. It's the British way. It's the only conversation.
Why? Because the weather's always shit.
No, it doesn't matter. It could be nice.
But that's why. That's
be
why.
shit.
They need to know how the weather is because it's so inconsistent.
I actually like small talk because I don't like.
I don't like small talk.
I
don't
just
like
want
to
to say
point.
something. The whole thing of small talk is such a British thing, and it's pointless. Such a waste of time.
It's what
Is
makes
it a
us who
British
we
thing?
are.
It's pointless. It's a waste of time.
It is a waste of time.
Sorry, is it a British thing?
It's a very British.
Yeah.
Or is it a Western thing?
It's a British thing.
Is a Brit like the weather?
More so.
Specifically, the weather is a
But
British thing.
but that's what I'm saying. That's because the weather's so inconsistent. It's a trope.
No, I just think it's it's almost like a
Well, that's not
conversational thing that just has to happen.
That's not me.
It's almost
I'm
like how you-
the opposite of that.
It's almost like how you initiate a conversation in the UK. You have to like address the weather, otherwise you haven't had a conversation.
My problem is right with small talk. I'm like the conversation.
and we
goes,
haven't talked about the weather yet.
Here's how the conversation goes. Hiya, Hi, you alright? Yeah, I'm alright. You alright? Yeah, I'm alright. Yeah, you alright?
Good weekend?
Yeah, I'm alright. Yeah, good weekend.
That's
what about
kids.
your weekend? Yeah, you alright? How's the kids?
Yeah, my weekend was
Dwayne and
alright.
Dwayne were
Yeah,
alright.
mine was alright as well. Yeah, you alright? Yeah, good.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
What's the point?
That's a good British
But
conversation.
the thing is, no one cares. No one wants to
one
know.
cares.
No, you don't learn anything. You haven't even really had a conversation, but time has passed, and you can now discuss the thing you
At
want.
which point, you already turned up to the meeting 3 minutes late, and now we've had this conversation for another 3 minutes, and now it's 6 minutes past, and it's only half an hour for an hour-long
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, and then it runs
and then
over.
you overrun on the next meeting, and then the next meeting's cut short, and then it's just an endless cycle of too many bloody meetings, and then you never get any work done.
Yeah. No, I think small talk's great because what else do you say? Like I don't really care
Why not
about.
just get to business? All right, hi, cool, business. Let's go.
I think that's how Americans do business. I think
Really?
Yeah, like if you that's
Hi, Chuck.
they're just like, what's the agenda? What are we talking about? What's the business? Like that's like we're just like we do have to talk for like 10 minutes and pretend like we're interested in each other's lives. I hate like that. How was your weekend?
Can you do that accent again, Ross?
No, I'm not doing it.
I remember a time when we went out and you were talking to this guy for like 40 minutes, saying you're from Colorado.
No, there's no way. I probably did actually.
You did.
No,
you did.
The accent
did.
thing, I have
And
to
you
be
were
drunk.
doing an accent, and you were talking. You were getting to know him. You were having a good conversation, and you were doing an American accent for such a long period of time until you couldn't be bothered anymore. And you're like, "I'm joking."
Yeah, the accent thing, I have to like. If I tune into it, I can do it, but I can't do it on the spot.
But you just did it then.
Yeah, but it's like.
I just tune into it again. I'll give you time. I'll cut
What? No,
out.
give me something to say then.
I'll talk about why it's great to do a podcast.
I can't do it on the
Why?
spot. I don't know. I got no, because then I'm thinking about it too.
What do you think of the rum? There you go.
It's great rum, man. It's good flavor. It's a good flavor, man. It settles me down. NFL's coming on soon. See, that's not good.
No, it's awful.
It was better. It was
yeah.
I got to settle into it.
Yeah.
I had a night
I
out
know.
once on St. Patrick's Day where I spoke in an Irish accent for the whole night. And it wasn't good the whole time. But
Don't get Callum started. He'll say how pointless St. Patrick's Day is.
oh, Callum, what you been up to recently?
That's awful.
Oh, Callum, I'm just an Irish fucking leprechaun.
You can't say that. Yeah, I mean St. Patrick's Day. You know,
I can't wait for St. Paddy's Day, Callum. I can't wait to have some Guinness on St. Paddy's Day.
Where are you from in Ireland?
I'm from Galway, Callum. Where we drink all
do you know
the Guinness in Galway.
I can't stand.
See, I'm
Ed
losing
Sheeran.
already.
Can't stand Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran.
Bloody music. Galway Girl. That's what reminded me.
All of Ed Sheeran's songs are like, it's just him describing like a night out where he pulls a girl.
Yeah.
I think he's pulled like 3 girls and he's written like 10 songs about it.
Yeah.
It's like, we went to the bar and we had a little dance and we drank some beer and we had a little dance and we drank some more beer. It's like, you're just describing a night out. Like, what the fuck is this? I liked his first few albums.
That's why we should start an album then.
He was singing about Lego house and Lego houses. I like Lego. That was a good song. But then, now all of his songs are just like, we're going to have a dance, we're going to dance, we're going to kiss, we're going to have a little smooch in the sunset. Like, it's all
To be fair,
just the same
no,
shit every song.
I'm gonna defend Ed Sheeran here.
Give me a recent song where he's not just like, I danced with a girl and we danced all night. And we
Okay,
had a little
Heaven.
fun and we
Heaven.
sang in the rain.
There was a song about heaven, right, where he's like, he's lost his missus, and he's got a
That's a
daughter,
bit silly.
and he's talking about raising her and trying to.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not selling it, but point being, it's
He's not
different.
singing. He's not
It's not-
singing about having a beer.
It's not. I saw you in the club and you look so fine. I really want to make you mine. That kind of shit.
Yeah. Damn, you got a hit on your hands there.
Oh, that's a banger.
Oh man.
Yeah. I have a particular penchant for like 43
Press the
music.
fancy word button. He said a fancy word.
I don't know what the fancy word button is. I don't know what these buttons do.
Don't press the red one.
No, I won't press the red one.
You have to put the headphones on.
Put the headphones on. Oh, I know
Is
what
that
that
laugh
one.
track?
Yeah.
Can I tell a joke and then you press the laugh track?
Yeah, go on then.
A blind man walks into a bar, then a table, then a chair.
Ha 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 ha.
That was good.
Okay.
They were howling. I heard them laughing through
Alright.
the headphones.
Next joke.
Oh, you got one.
Do you want to know a joke?
Yes.
You.
Didn't like that one.
Anyway. I mean, I've got a particular penchant for, royalty-free music from Epidemic Sounds. They've got some great music on there.
You listen to...
Because I do videos.
Like in your free time, you listen to royalty-free music?
No, you have to pay for it. So, like, I do a lot of videos. I try to do videos for my YouTube, for my travel blog at Kelsdenblog, CallumElson.com.
Plug in. Ooh. This episode is sponsored by Callum's blog.
Yeah, so travel blog, actually.
How much do we get for
So,
100 quid?
actually, I
Can you pay me for this?
I like high-quality music on my videos. So I quite enjoy listening to some of the good music on there, even if it's royalty-free, not copyright-free. Yeah, so that, but obviously I love K-pop. K-pop's great, upbeat music. I don't mind a bit of like EDM kind of thing, quite mixed.
EDM?
Yeah, like particularly
What's
when
that?
I'm doing workouts.
Electronic dance music.
Okay.
How old are
The
you?
Rude Sandstorm.
Why does everything have to be a bloody acronym?
It's
There's
just
too many acronyms.
Luke,
anymore. I'm sorry.
Everyone's heard EDM. That's you. That's a you problem. That's not an acronym problem.
like that's quite a common acronym. Very common.
D&B. Do you know D&B?
No.
Do you know D&B?
Drum and bass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
I just, it's the rum.
D&D?
No, D&D.
Like, I went to Canada last month. I went to Toronto first, the big metropolis of Toronto.
Mm.
Then I went to Montreal, and I far more preferred Montreal because Toronto just felt like any other American city, whereas Montreal was French. You go and you see PFK or Kentucky Fried Chicken in French, or you see... And you can see the culture was just very different. It was more interesting than Toronto, which was like America Light. That we've been more clean. So yeah, I wouldn't really choose to go to America unless I had to. Certainly wouldn't live there.
No, I wouldn't live there because of the portion sizes. Right, so I've had, so I'm doing HelloFresh now. I'm getting 3 portions a week. Sorry, 3 meals a week, and then 6 portions. So it's times 2 portions per meal. Okay, I'm having 2 HelloFresh portions.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that's not as big as American portions.
Probably not.
Like, what's their breakfast about? I don't. Full English breakfast, banging. We
It's
can
awful.
Luke.
Whoa! What? Sorry, hold that
It's a
thought.
monstrosity.
Whatever I was about to say does not matter anymore. Why?
It's just such a horrible creation.
Are you talking about
A full English breakfast.
a
yes.
British...
Sausages,
A British
bacon, eggs,
full English
beans,
breakfast.
hash browns, mushrooms,
It's a
tomatoes,
monstrosity.
toast, bread or toast, depending on your fancy.
It is the best breakfast.
Do
in
not
the
say in the
world.
world. It's awful.
Well, it's
In
not
the
actually.
world.
Eggs Royale is better.
In the
Controversial
world.
opinion alert.
No, it's awful.
I'm not nationalistic about a lot. I'm nationalistic about our
So I
full
constantly,
English breakfast.
hear people say British food isn't all that.
It
But
is.
when you include
isn't.
full English and like roast dinners, I'm sorry.
British food is
It's just
You know,
really
I-
nothing.
I
But
was outside of the family home for 18 months and never cooked British food.
so
so
you didn't
boring.
have
No.
you didn't have a chicken pie. Like,
No.
hang
I
on,
don't care about shepherd's pie. to be
I don't
fair.
either. But what do you not like about a full English? You said it's a monstrosity.
Yeah, like who wants like a liquid substance like
What?
Liquid substance? What are you talking about?
of like baked beans? Like
Well, have less
Okay.
beans.
disgusting.
Right.
Have
Baked
you
baked
have
beans
a
are lovely.
reasonable
Take
amount of
baked beans out of the equation. What's wrong with it?
It's just
It's everything you could.
It's just
You've got
all
the
you have in
salty
other meals.
bacon. You got the Cumberland sausage,
No,
hash
not
brown.
There is so many
You gotta get the butcher
got
sausages.
better-
Like,
Oh,
come on, privilege.
better alternatives for breakfast.
Egg,
globally.
scrambled, fried, any egg you want. It's just it's a delight. It's just everything you want on a plate. You got the roasted tomatoes.
I don't understand. I don't understand you. I don't want to be friends anymore.
Okay, I'll get over it. I'll have better breakfast than you.
What breakfast are you having tomorrow?
Actually, saying that, I don't really have breakfast when I go to the gym.
Well, this is why he doesn't have breakfast.
But-
Like, case closed.
But,
All right,
like,
that's a
for
wrap, guys.
example, like when I'm with Lloyd, when he's back from graduation or whatever,
Who's Lloyd, Callum?
Lloyd is my, my partner, my husband. So when he's back, we'll have like breakfast. We'll have leftover rice. We'll do fried rice. We'll add chorizo, egg, vegetable. Have that for breakfast. So tasty. Or something like beef. We don't have this at here, but something like beef tapa, which is like fried rice, egg on top, and then like really tender stir-fried beef with it. Beautiful.
These are just dinners.
Yeah, but no, what's up with this country? Why can't you have? Why is it weird to have certain foods before a certain time? It's not. It could end
So
up in the same
I
place.
constantly get told off by my partner. I have tomato soup for breakfast.
Fair enough. That's you
I
do
think
you.
that's. I think
that's
cool.
valid.
But it's fine.
But Callum, so you would sit down and eat a full English, and you would not think, yummy. That was yummy.
No.
What's
feel
going
like-
through your head?
I feel like
You just had bacon. You've had
Do you know what I think? Here's what I think. I think Callum is an addict.
a bit of toast with the bacon.
I
Nice
think.
bit of butter.
Do you know?
Ross,
Do you know?
I can't just end on that. I said he's an addict. He's an addict for Asian culture. That's what I think. And Thai
know-
food and Japanese
do
food.
you know-
I think that's just what you're into.
I'm
He's a
just
weeb.
I'm just gonna say, one thing I do really like: eggy fried bread. Eggy fried bread.
That was pretty good.
That's pretty good. Hash browns I will have.
What
for
culture
brekkie.
is that? What?
I
Where
don't
did
know. It's
eggy fried
probably
bread come from?
American, British. I don't know.
Mm.
But yeah, anyway, never would go for a full English. It's just unacceptable to me.
Well, that's
really
very
s-
disappointing.
That's actually really sad.
That is quite sad. And on that note, on that disappointing and sad ending that Callum has left us with, I think we should wrap this up. Thank you, everyone, for joining the Mind the Gaffes podcast. You would have seen a taste of what you can expect from the other podcast we're going to do, which is Callum talking about his political and wrong opinions about full English breakfast, and me attempting
How
to
could you
talking
know?
about... Ross, shut up. No one cares for your opinion. And me attempting to talk about why I'd be great as a Netflix CEO, which I didn't get to talk about because no one also cares.
Bye.
Bye.